Hi everyone, I'm Jeff with megamixing.com, and this is part 3 in my recording series. If you have not watched part 1 or 2, I highly recommend you do before moving forward. I will show you in full how I produce these guitars. You can see by the names of the tracks here which guitar I used. The Gibson was a Les Paul Custom Access, and the Fender was a Fender Stratocaster. So to start out with, these first 4 tracks here, this one, these 4 tracks here, they come from 2 performances, okay? One performance on the left and one on the right. I then duplicated each performance. So this performance here, I just copied it and pasted it onto this track, and this performance here, I copied and pasted onto this track. For the electric guitar that's panned hard left, which is this one here, I put an impulse response of a Marshall 4x12 cab with an SM57 microphone on it. For the duplicated track, this one here, I placed the same Marshall cab 4x12, but I put a Royer 121 on it. So that essentially simulates one performance with 2 microphones on a Marshall cab. Then I did the same for the right side. Either side is panned 100% left and 100% right. So let's give a listen to this first performance pan left with the Marshall cab impulse response and an SM57 mic on it. Very cool. Love it. Love the bite. Love how it sounds. However, I wanted, it needed to have a little bit more, I guess, of that that mic sound, that 2 mic sound that has been just made on countless gold and platinum records. So I blended in the Royer 121, and this is what those 2 sound like together. Pretty cool. So then I did the exact same thing on the right side, and so those 2 sides together, this is what they sounded like. Very cool. So I wanted a little bit more weight to kick behind those, just so it could cut through the mix, because it's a pretty rocking song. So I took the original DI and ran it into a Native Instruments guitar rig simulation. Remember in the second video when I split the signal on the way in with the flanger pedal? So I took that original DI and I ran it through a Native Instruments simulation, and that was guitar rig. So I just saved this plugin so you guys could see it and see what I had. Basically what this was is it was guitar mix, GR5, and then I went to the Van Scooped right here. Okay, so you click on that, this is what comes up. I removed the EQ, and that's what I was left with, and then I brought the bass up, I dimed the mids, and had the treble at about 80% there. So that's what I had, and with that set up right there, it sounded like this. That was pretty cool. I like the sound. I like the grit. A little more low mids. Sounded great. But it still sounded flat. It sounded like it had not been there was no air moving a capsule. So what I did is I took the impulse response of, let's see what I had on this one. This one was a Marshall with a 212 and an SM57. So 2x12 Marshall with an SM57. And just bam, this thing just comes to life. So this is without the without the impulse response, and then I'll add it in as it plays. Right? I mean, that just kicks. Huge difference. So I did the same thing for the right side with that DI performance also, and those two together had some really nice punch. So I love that. Love it all. These here are octave guitars. I actually got a little lazy on this one. My octave guitar is not strung up, so what I did was I took this and I just put a pitch shift on it and tweaked some EQ to get a signal for the octave guitar, just to have something low in there. And then I put a low pass filter on this, so I was just getting some of the high frequencies, and then I boosted right at about 5,200 hertz. So it's nothing really great on its own, but here it is. Yuck. Sounds horrible. But it adds a lot in the mix, and that's what's important, is what it sounds like in the mix. Then for this part here, I added just a little richness to the guitars. So I went back in and sweetened it up with just some high notes, and this is what those high notes sound like. Yeah, cool. I know that that one side is lagging a little bit in the beginning. That was intentional. I wanted a little bit of gel in the mix for that part, so I set that back by about 20 milliseconds, and it just set it off so it wasn't so exact and robotic. There was a little bit of a flow to it. So all of those guitars together, when you're listening to them, sounded like this. Pretty cool. So the way that sits in the mix is just what I wanted. It's perfect for what I was trying to accomplish. And the only other thing that's really going on, all of these guitars are being bused to one bus. It's actually bus number 1, and that bus is called guitars. So that's where they're all going. And the only thing I have on there, which I took off so that you guys could just hear the original sound, and that is right here, is that Universal Audio CS1. And I put that on just to add a little bit of space to it. So here's what that sounds like with and without it. Yeah, you can hear when I click that on, it just livens the guitars even a little bit more, which is really cool. So that's pretty much how all of these guitars were mixed. And if we go ahead and give it a listen in the song, this is how it sounds. Awesome. Love it. Love how it sounds. It's they really cut through the mix nice. There's a lot of body and weight, a little crispness to them also. Love the effect. That's pretty much everything I wanted to show in this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and leave any comments. Let me know what you guys think. If you'd like to see a specific video, let me know, and I'd be happy to consider it. Thanks.